What is your pastoral counsel to families struggling to conceive? Do you have encouragement and or warnings about options such as adoption or IVF?
Yes, I do have some cautions. One is getting a baby because you need a baby is a bad motivate is not a good motivator. Trying to fix a problem or meet an emotional need that you have is a bad start, and that could be a bad start even with couples who could conceive in the normal way. If a woman's had 3 or 4 kids and after a couple of years has gone by and she's starting to feel, I want to hold a baby, I want to need a baby. Of course, there's a certain creational element to that that's just fine. But if it gets to a certain level of a neediness, it's just not healthy. And so if a couple is unable to conceive and they're dealing with the very real grief of barrenness, infertility, it would be easy to start thinking about all the time, starting to obsess over it, and then develop an undue dependence on this. And so you adopt the kid, and then you're not in a position to give to them because
they're there to give to you.
They're there to give to you, and not surprisingly, they're going to be unable to meet that need. The need that you had. They're not going to be able to meet it. They're just a little kid. So that'd be the first caution. The second caution on IVF is there's several things. I've dealt with this sort of thing pastorally, and I think that it is a fraught area. There's an industry associated with it. People are making money off of it. And that means you have to be careful that you don't want to subsidize things that you don't want to subsidize. So on the one hand, for example, with the adopting of snowflake babies, there's a market there, and on the one hand, you could view it as rescuing. I mean, these babies are in the freezer. What are we going to do with the babies in the freezer? On the one hand, there's a very deep Christian impetus to rescue the babies. But on the other hand, you're not. I would be much more sympathetic to that if it was being done after we outlawed the whole practice.
Right.
No more of that. Because what happens is with IVF and in a secular setting, you are just treating human bodies as commodities, and if you fertilize a number of eggs, and then you 1 or 2 are planted, and you wash the others down the sink, or you just leave them in the freezer forever, it's just really not copacetic. So, I would say, don't let your desires, which are normal, healthy, natural, obscure the challenges, the ethical challenges. So I don't think it's a cut and dried thing, but it's not easy.
So, okay, if somebody's listening and they say, it sounds like you're saying one thing that would be a sign that you should not adopt a baby is if you want to adopt a baby.
If you want to adopt a baby too much in the wrong way.
Okay.
Right.
What would be a right way of what would be a right way of being pulled into that sort of ministry?
Okay, so one of the things would be just track record. Let's say they have children of their own. They've got children already, and they think mom and dad are talking one day, and one of them says, not to toot our own horn, but I think we're good at this. Right? This is the kids are thriving and happy and healthy. Dad's got a good job. We could feed a couple of more. Right? Let's overflow. That kind of thing, I think, is, it's getting too calm around here. We're not going to bed as tired as we used to. That's not healthy for us. Let's overflow. Let's give. That, I think, should be the orientation. Okay. And you could really want to give, but it's it's the nature of the want. Do I want to give or do I want to get?
If on the IVF question, if a family says, okay, we haven't heard of these ethical considerations that you're raising, is there a book or a source that you would point them towards to kind of open their eyes to why this is an ethical problem?
Yes, there's our Jeff Schaefer at the Hale Institute at NSA is he's a storm cloud about this whole area. He gave me an article that was quite provocative, just against the whole against the whole thing. But I don't remember the article. It was a journal article.
But if you go onto the Hale Institute page and look at some of Jeff's talks, I think you can find him
referring to these things.
Yeah.
Jeff Schaefer, the Hale Institute at NSA, and this topic is addressed. And there are real challenges in this, in the whole area of surrogacy. Of course, I want to make sure that we understand that there is surrogacy in the Bible, but I'm also sure that we don't want to go back to that. So with Jacob and his 2 wives and their handmaids, and what might be described as the great baby race, that was not happy times for anybody, right?
Yeah.